Alright, since last night and yesterday, we've basically seen every single mythic that dropped for update 3. And now that we've seen all of them and seen their stats and how good they are, let's rank them from best to worst. Let's go! Alright, before anything starts, I'm gonna go ahead and just say out there that these units are honestly situational on which event you're doing, like maybe infinite, story mode, etc., or which maps you're doing, because teams are supposed to be made up by different units, and units have different purposes. So some of them may be good on different maps, and some of them may be worse on different maps. So take this with a grain of salt, and keep in mind that teams make up everything, and how you make them is what makes them good. How you use them is what makes them good, my bad. Other people have said this, and honestly, it's just the truth. So with that out of the way, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. And by the way, all these units are evolved and maxed at level 80. So yeah, these are the stats, and they're also traitless. So at number 1, I'm gonna go ahead and recommend the one and only secret unit evolved Kisuke Max. Alright, this man is an absolute menace in everything that he does. Alright, except for the fact that he can only place 3, but hey, but just keep that on the side. Alright, whatever. So his stats: around 15k damage, 6 SPA, 30 range, large circle AoE. You only place 3 of them with a DPS of 7.5k, total cost of 60,000, and has the one and only ability Open Crimson Princess. Alright, if you already don't know what this ability does, it basically gives every unit in its radius a 20% range increase and a minus 10% SPA decrease. This is what makes Kisuke so broken, because in anything that he does, he buffs like maybe a Rima or a unit with high SPA and good range like Eto, Broly. It just makes them broken, even more broken than they already are. Alright, it just makes them so good that they could reach like start to finish. They have their SPAs are low as in 3 seconds. I've seen this for Arima, so it's honestly really crazy. And the buff timer for this one is around 30 seconds, so that's really good. I'm pretty sure that's longer than Erwin, right? Although the cooldown is around 2 minutes, which makes up for it, but still, 30-second buff? That's honestly really amazing. And I understand why you can only place 3, just because if you did place more than 3, you could basically spam them like Erwin's, and that would be a little overpowered. So we want to you want to balance it out, but still an overall amazing unit. Now for number 2, I'm gonna go ahead and put Ulquiorra or Starrk. Right, these two you could either swap them in between, but I'd rather put Ulquiorra over Starrk just because of the details. I'll talk into them in a little bit. But Ulquiorra, 7.7k damage, 6.7 SPA, 42 range, large circle AoE, placeable is 4, DPS is around 10.5k, and total cost is 62,000. Now the reason why I put Ulquiorra above Starrk is not only is it less expensive, which Starrk is a little expensive, but you can place 4 of them, and they're generally more useful in things like story mode, raids, etc., since they're cheaper. I think you could say Ulquiorra is a budget Arima, just because I do believe Arima's better. His AoE is just more massive, although Ulquiorra might have more damage. His AoE just takes up more units, but I'm not sure. I might have to get into that some. But right now, I do think that Arima is still better in terms of damage, but Ulquiorra is up there though. Very good sub. Now for Starrk, his damage, 30,000, SPA, 12, 50 range, massive line/rectangle AoE. I don't really know how to say it or, you know, refer it to, but you can only place 3 of these guys. The DPS is around 7.5k, and the total cost is nearly touching 100,000. Alright, that's what makes it really bad. I'll talk about that in a little bit here, but the ability summons coyotes that explode, and I believe it's 33%, so that's around, what, 6k? I think. If my math is really like wrong, then tell me. But 6k damage per coyote, which is really good. I don't know the cooldown on it, but I feel like it's like an Erwin summoning its units, so really good. And now, like I said, the cons of this unit is that it's really expensive and the SPA is really high. Alright, 12 SPA is pretty high, and the you know, cost 100,000. That's pretty crazy. But if you pair this with Kisuke, the SPA is gonna go down up to like 10 seconds, which is basically like a Eto, a better Eto, just because it starts off with 30,000 instead of having to build up to it. So Starrk, really good damage unit for infinite and maps like Hollow or Namek, anything with a straight line. Right, now for 3rd place or 4th place, or whatever you want to call it, I put Aizen. Now the reason why I put Aizen here is because he's very situational. Alright, Aizen, not only does he have small range, but you can only place 3 of these guys, and I'll tell you in a minute why that's really a downside to the unit. So, you know, damage 16,500, 6 SPA, 23 range, large circle AoE, a DPS at 8.2k, a total cost of 60,000, an ability called Kyoka Sugetsu. So if you don't know what this ability does, it's basically like Love Train from ASTD. It stops every unit from entering the base, and it pushes them back back for at least around 30 seconds, I believe. So that's really good. So you could like maybe spawn like an Arima in the back, kill those units, and then have some more waves coming through. Now, the reason why I put it in 4th place is because of the fact that you can only place 3 of these guys. In the ability is global. So it doesn't even matter if you could place 3. The ability is global and you can't really do anything about it, and it has a long cooldown. So that's the downside to it, alongside the short range and a little smaller AoE than most units, but still a very situational unit because of the fact that you'll probably use this more for leaderboards and maybe raids, so you could stop them from actually getting to your base. I don't really see it for story mode and etc, but maybe, who knows, I'll have to test that out later with like the other units as well. But that's it for 4th place, and you guys already know what 5th place was. I believe this is the worst mythic in this update at least, but not the worst mythic in the game, alright? But that's gonna have to go to Evolved Uryu Maxed. Alright, this man, 5.5k, 3.5 SPA, 46 range, decently big circle, placeable is 5, DPS is around 8k, and has the ability to crit just like Levi. So if you don't know what crit is, it basically multiplies the damage. So if it's 5k multiplied by 2, that's 10k per crit. That's really good though. And the total cost is 50k. Now, the reason why I put Uryu all the way down here is because his AoE. Alright, if his AoE was a little bigger, just not even a little, way bigger, it would actually be meta for like most maps actually. Since he's a hill unit and there's flying units now, this unit is kind of situational. Just because the AoE is so small, you're probably going to be only using him for hollow. Or even if you're not going to use him, you're probably going to be using a Kainu just because he has a fatter AoE. Even though he doesn't do as much damage, he hits more units and burns them as well. So most people are going to use a Kainu over Uryu, but if you get Uryu evolved, go ahead and use him. The biggest downside is to his small AoE, alright? The great thing about this unit is that it has decent damage, great SPA, and you could place 5 of these guys. I was thinking it was going to be really good, but then once I saw the AoE, it was kind of small. So yeah, I don't think it's meta, but still a very good mythical unit to evolve. But overall, that's my list right there. Kisuke number 1, Ulquiorra or Starrk number 2 or number 3, Aizen for number 4, and then Uryu for number 5. Definitely leave your thoughts in the comments below, or maybe if I made a mistake or you have your own list, do that as well. But besides that, hey, Kisuke on top.